Hello guys, Namaskar, I'm Gandit and welcome back to my channel, The Bomb Connection. Well guys, today I'm going to react to Death Note Season 1 Episode 4. Guys, in the last episode we saw that Light is very much sure about his plan because now that we know that his father is the chief administrative police officer of the detective of the case they are handling, and that was the first twist we saw in the last episode, and the second twist was in the last moment when Shinigami told Light that he could make him a deal, the deal of lending his Shinigami eyes to Light, but in return he has to give half of his lifespan to Shinigami. And so let's see what is going to happen in this episode. We already know that he's going to give half of his last lifespan to Shinigami because we already see his red eyes in the intro, right? So it would make this episode much more interesting, and I'm expecting a lot of twists in this episode as well, and I cannot wait to watch this with you guys, and you guys are excited as well, I guess. So without no further ado, let's get into this episode in 3, 2, 1 and go.
What? I don't believe this. Another 23 victims yesterday? Are these confirmed?
As soon as we began to suspect that Kira might be a student, the pacing of the killings changed, as if to contradict that theory. This can only mean that Kira has access to police information.
When L discovers that I'm somehow getting confidential information, he'll be obligated to start investigating the police to find the source of the leak.
You're being followed by another human. He's watching you right now.
That's a problem. I'll have to get rid of him as soon as possible.
Because through a Shinigami's eyes, a human's name can be seen above their head. Not only that, we see their lifespan as well. However, if a Shinigami drops his death note and a human picks it up, he can grant that human the eyes of a Shinigami. The price for having a Shinigami's eyes is half of that person's remaining lifespan. That's all it is. So, what'll it be like? Is it a deal?
Has anyone seen Ryuk around lately? Maybe he was serious about losing his death note.
It was probably picked up by some human before he could get to it.
No way! Then he'd be stuck there till the end of that human's life or until the Death Note was destroyed. That could take a while.
Yeah, I can't picture Ryuk doing something so boring. But you know what? I actually heard he was carrying 2 death notes. Seriously? Why would he need 2? Beats me. I'll never understand that guy.
So, the price for receiving the eyes of a Shinigami is no more than half of my remaining lifespan? That's it, right?
Yes. Well then, do we have a deal or not?
Ryuk, this deal is out of the question.
Huh?
But I think he will eventually agree.
Let's get this straight. My plan is to create an ideal new world free from evil and all criminals, and I intend to reign as a god in that world for a very long time. I might consider the deal if it lengthened my life, but not if I die sooner. I figured you, of all people, should know I wouldn't take this deal.
Yeah. I still felt I should tell you that the deal existed just in case. Anyway, I've done my part. I don't need you complaining I didn't tell you this earlier on.
This is what you call telling me early on? Don't you think you're a little late? I don't see why you couldn't have told me this when we met. Or better yet, you could have simply included it in the instructions for the Death Note.
Good point. He's not the slightest bit daunted by the fact that I'm a Shinigami. He doesn't suck up to me, and he seems to have no problem giving me a hard time.
Well, you sure there's nothing else you want to tell me ahead of time? Shinigami?
No, nothing else. Probably.
Really? That's too bad.
What do you mean?
You know, Ryuk, I might have seriously considered the deal if you'd offered me wings instead of eyes. Just the idea of flying around freely in the sky sounds very godlike. After all, it's been mankind's dream since antiquity to be able to fly.
You'd stand out if you sprouted wings and flew around. Not to mention the police would have no trouble finding you.
I was only joking. Anyway, if I keep bargaining for eyes and wings and whatever else, next thing you know I'm gonna end up becoming a real Shinigami. Though, who knows? I bet that could be pretty interesting.
I wouldn't worry. Even without the eyes and the wings, you're already a worthy Shinigami.
True.
The Shinigami realm is slowly rotting. We lead meaningless and empty lives. And the only reason we still take human lives is because we're afraid to die ourselves. The truth of the matter is that we no longer even know why we exist. In fact, I doubt there's any reason for our existence at all. What I'm saying is, compared to that, you're becoming a much more impressive Shinigami.
I don't know about that. I mean, from what you're telling me, it sounds like I'm doing a lot more work than they are, but I don't want to be compared to a Shinigami. I'm a human using this Death Note to make the world a better place for other humans. But I wouldn't necessarily say that the Shinigami realm is meaningless to humans either.
Why do you say that?
Well, just think about it. Whenever a Shinigami like you comes to the human world once every 100, no more like every 1,000 years, the human world changes dramatically. The existence of the Shinigami realm is extremely significant.
Really?
You told me just now that the Shinigami realm is slowly rotting, right? Well, when you return from this world, why not use what you've learned here to try and change it for the better?
Well, Light, I'm not sure why I never noticed this until now, but you're quite the positive thinker.
Yeah, of course I am. That's why I'm using the Death Note to create a better world. You have to be a positive thinker to even attempt something like this. That's it. I got it.
Got what? What's this about?
I think I just figured out how to find the name of the guy who was following me today.
How are you gonna do that?
I'm gonna use the rules of the Death Note to my advantage. I already know that if I write down a cause of death, I've got 6 minutes and 40 seconds to record the conditions and exact time of death. First, I need to know exactly how far I can go in terms of specifying the details of death. This should be interesting.
There's something up his sleeve.
Yeah, it's me. Another 6 inmates were found dead last night? All were heart attacks? It's him. What? Huh? Bizarre behavior before they died? Could you be more specific? What do you mean? So they didn't just die from heart attacks?
No, what I'm saying is they all died of heart attacks, but it wasn't quite that simple. Before one of them died, he drew a pentagram on the wall of his cell using his own blood. Another left a letter, but it doesn't seem to be a will or anything meaningful. And as for the third victim, he escaped from his cell and ran all the way to the staff bathrooms before he died.
What is it, Watari?
3 more heart attack victims, but the circumstances of their deaths are different from what we've seen thus far.
What do you mean by
He's
different?
clever.
I'm sending you a copy of a letter as well as pictures taken at the scene.
Okay. It sounds like he was afraid that Kira would find him. It's believable that our victim might have been genuinely afraid and wrote this, but we know Kira can control the time of death. What if he can also determine the actions in the moments leading up to death? In which case...
Chief.
Huh?
We can't release details of these men's deaths to the media. As far as they're concerned, these are just heart attacks. I have reason to believe that Kira was performing some kind of test using these criminals. And if that's the case, we'd only be giving him the results if this information is leaked to the public.
Right, I understand.
So now he's experimenting on his victims? Horrible.
He's playing with people's lives as if all this was just a game. It's unforgivable.
If Kira is really using criminals as test subjects, what is he trying to achieve?
Look at this, Ryuk. I think we're in luck. The results of yesterday's little test have already been downloaded onto my dad's computer. And these results are just as I expected. The Death Note will work for what I have in mind.
What do you mean by that?
One of them escaped and ran into the bathroom I had specified in the Death Note. Another one drew the same symbol I had drawn in the Death Note before he died. And finally, a third wrote the same letter I had written in the Death Note, word for word. All All three did exactly what I intended them to do. For the other three inmates, I purposely wrote conditions that were virtually impossible. With the first one, I wrote that he would die in front of the Eiffel Tower in 1 hour. However, everyone knows that it's physically impossible to go from a prison in Japan to Paris, France in only 1 hour. Since this couldn't happen, he simply died of a heart attack in prison. The next was supposed to draw an exact picture of Elle's face on the prison wall. This also didn't happen. You can't draw someone you've never seen, right?
Makes sense.
With the last one, I tried something slightly different. I specified that he would write a note that read, "I know that Elle is suspicious of the Japanese police." To be honest, I actually expected this one to work, but it didn't end up happening. Which means, it's impossible to make someone write what they don't already know. Or, at the very least, it has to be the kind of thing that they could come up with on their own. Basically, even the Death Note can't do the impossible. But, as long as it's within the realistic limits of what that person might do, I can control them as much as I want before they die.
That's very clever. But what's all this leading to? What's the point?
These latest victims will no doubt keep Elle and the police guessing. Even as we speak, he's probably trying to decipher all the clues I left for him, especially that little note. That absolutely meaningless dying message.
If Kira used those criminals to conduct an experiment of some sort, it means he's about to start something. If he moves now, there's a good chance that the FBI will notice someone acting suspiciously. But perhaps he has a different goal in mind altogether. Could the pentagram and this letter be some kind of message? Is this it?
Alright, time for the real thing.
Real thing?
Yesterday on the news, they said this drug addict tried to rob a bank but was unsuccessful. He attacked a few people and then ran away empty-handed. I'll use him. It's kinda last minute, but I'm sure I can find someone. I got a few people in mind.
A few people? For what?
You'll see. Believe it or not, I'm actually a rather popular guy. What do you...
Hello? Light? Morning.
It's turning interesting. Let's see.
He's still following me. Perfect. This whole thing would just be a waste of time if he wasn't tailing me.
Light!
A date?
Yeah. It's a date no matter how you look at it. And I'm sure even my stalker will see it that way.
But this isn't just a date, is it? You said that you'd figured out a way to find your stalker's name. So tell me, what do you plan on doing?
Huh? Come on. Didn't you see what I wrote in the Death Note? I explained it in great detail.
No. Doing that would take all the fun out of it.
In that case, just be patient and watch what happens. Sorry, did I keep you waiting?
No, not at all. Anyway, I haven't been to Spaceland since junior high. I'm so excited. And the best part is I have you all to myself.
Yeah.
During the week, he goes to school and cram school at night. Dates on his day off. A normal kid, just a hardworking senior in high school. Chief Yagami's son. Light Yagami. No cause for suspicion. At any rate, I'll be done with my surveillance today, and that'll be it.
I don't get it, Light. Didn't you say you weren't going out until entrance exams were over?
That was before I scored #1 on the national practice exams.
Oh, you're such a nerd.
It's him. He's here.
Oh no.
7 passengers, excluding him, no one's in the way, everything should go smoothly.
Stay in your seats unless you want to die!
A bus jacking? You gotta be kidding me.
Everybody shut up! If anybody moves, I'm putting a bullet in their head! Alright, driver. You listen to me. I know you've got the number for Spaceland's office on you. Call them!
Okay. This is Sasaki, calling from bus 174.
Tell them what's going on, and no tricks either.
My bus has been hijacked, and he's holding a gun to my head.
Give me that. You heard what he said. Now you listen up. Have a female staff member bring all of Spaceland's cash from yesterday. I know it's there. Have her meet us 2 bus stops from the park, and don't make me wait. If you mess with me at all, or try to get the police involved, I swear I'll kill every one of these passengers.
Yuri, don't be scared. As soon as he turns around, I'm going to grab the gun out of his hand.
Don't be stupid. That's risky. If it comes to that, I'll take care of it. It's okay. We don't have to pass notes back and forth. As long as we keep it down, he won't be able to hear our voices over the sound of the engine.
Do you have any proof that you're not his accomplice? Why should we trust you?
Accomplice?
Yes, I've read about this before. The first hijacker comes in like he's working alone. Meanwhile, the second one pretends to be a hostage and stays in the very back just in case something goes wrong. What's the matter?
You really think he is one?
I have no choice. I'm sure Light Yagami isn't Kira. If he was, he could just kill this guy with a heart attack. Here's my proof. Take a look.
Oh shit.
FBI? I see. El needed an outsider, so we got the FBI to investigate anyone connected to the Japanese police. His name is Ray Penber. I trust you. And I guess for the time being, I won't bother asking what an FBI agent is doing on the bus in the first place. Do you have a gun?
Yeah, I've got one.
So if it comes down to it, I can rely on you, right?
Yes.
Get the hell up, you old hag! You want me to shoot you right now?
That's right. This guy. His face was all over the local news just a few days ago. Some junkie. He tried to rob a bank, ended up killing 3 people before he got away. He's extremely dangerous.
We're safe. He won't shoot us. In fact, he's not gonna do anything.
Don't move, you little punk! What the hell is that? Smartass! You guys were planning something back here, weren't you?
Damn it! If he sees that note from before, he'll find out the Light was planning to jump him and take his gun away.
Plans for a date, huh? Stupid kid!
Gotcha.
Who the hell are you? You in the very back! What do you think you're doing? Don't mess with me! How long have you been hiding back there?
What's this? You're talking to me? So you mean you can actually see me right now?
Stay there, you! You! Keep away from me, you freak!
This isn't good. He's hallucinating.
Everyone, get down!
Oh, I get it. That little note that Light accidentally dropped was actually torn from the pages of the Death Note itself. Since he tricked this guy into touching the paper, he's the only other one on the bus who can see me. That's so smart.
Get away!
Sorry, pal. I'm a Shinigami, so I'm afraid your bullets aren't gonna kill me. Anyone who touches the Death Note can see me. I have to stay till the Death Note is finished, or I see you die, whichever comes first. And a Shinigami can't die from being shot. I've said all these things at one time or another. Well, he is the top-ranked student in the country. Guess I shouldn't be surprised. He even used this hijacking as a way to get the guy following him to willingly give up his name.
It's not the bus! Let me off!
Oh my god.
"11:45 on the dot. Everything went just as I planned. Kiichiro Osoreda, accidental death. Boards the 11:31 Spaceland-bound bus near the eastern entrance to the park, holding a loaded gun and attempts to hijack the bus. He sees a horrific phantom and empties his gun trying to kill it. Terrified, he flees the bus. Immediately afterwards, at 11:45, he dies when struck by a car."
Everything was detailed. Exactly happened what we
The Death Note never fails. You will be next, Ray Penber. It's just as I thought. He doesn't suspect me at all. The remaining investigators will all die of heart attacks. Farewell, Ray Penber.
tactics. Wow. Guys, this episode was just another feather in the whole amazing of the series. Guys, I totally enjoyed that, and the last part where the cleverly planned everything just so that he could kill that guy and also get the name of the investigator. That was hell of a plan, guys. What do you think? I think that was amazing. This guy is, wow, he's beyond intelligent. And yeah, definitely we can say that because the creators have created him like that in order to make him as intelligent. So he also got the name of the investigator. So now he is definitely going to kill each and every one of them. I'm interesting and intrigued to know how he would kill the rest of the investigators because it's not easy to get their names. And to be frank, Light is a step ahead of L. You can see that. And guys, I think, in my opinion, did you notice that in the beginning of this episode, the other Shinigamis were talking among themselves and they were also saying that Ryuk also dropped second death note as well. I think my theory is that second death note is in L's hand. I think he's the one who's having that second death note. Though he's not really killing them, I don't know what's the purpose of that death note. He's keeping that with him, but I think he's the second person to get that death note. And why his name is L? It's so similar to Light. His looks are also similar, you know, though we are only seeing his half of his face and his blue hair. I think he has some kind of connection with Light. I think so. It's my personal opinion. I don't know what you guys think about this, but this is definitely very interesting. And I think at the end of the episode, at the end of the season, we will definitely get to know a lot of other stories which are hidden inside, and a lot of twists as well. Well, guys, I'm definitely intrigued, definitely excited for the next episode. Until we get to that episode, you have to wait for it. I hope you guys like my reaction on this one because this episode was really clever. I mean, every episode is clever. It just blows my mind each and every time I watch this series. So yeah, guys, that was my reaction. If you guys liked it, then please put a thumbs up, comment down below what you thought about this particular episode and what are you expecting, what are your expectations, and what are your theories, and comment down below and tell me whether you like my reaction or not. And yes, let's wait till the next episode. I'll be seeing you again. Until then, please keep commenting, keep subscribing to my channel, and keep spreading the love. Until then,